Alright, y'all, so today I'm going to show you how to make my Alfredo sauce. So first things first, we're going to turn this on medium high. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients over here, as you can see. Okay, so first things first, we're going to put in about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to let that melt. Put the microphone on today, so hopefully that will help to where you guys can hear me a little better than you have been able to. So, get out my trusty Alfredo spoon. Yep, it's a wooden spoon, y'all. It's the best thing to use to make Alfredo. We are going to get our little, whoops, sorry y'all. Did that. I want y'all to be able to see really well. Don't mind my reach, pardon my reach. We got some minced garlic here. I'm going to put in about 1 teaspoon. That's a little less than 1 teaspoon. About 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. But that is a personal preference. If you like it really garlicky, put in another teaspoon. I prefer not to make it really garlicky because then I feel like that's all you taste is that garlic flavor. So we have about 2.5 tablespoons of whipped cream cheese. It is important to use whipped, y'all. Whipped just incorporates a whole lot better to me. By the way, that was Kerrygold butter, just so y'all know. I kind of smush up the cream cheese. That way it incorporates and melts in a lot better. I feel like y'all aren't seeing that very well. There we go. I want y'all to be able to see in the pan. That was my heater. We live in Wyoming. It's going all the time. Now I have seasonings, but let me tell you, I don't add them right now. I add them after the cream cheese is incorporated with the other liquid. And I have a secret seasoning, y'all. I'm making this for my grandma. If y'all didn't know, she's not feeling very well. And she loves Alfredo. So, we are making this for her. Alright, so we're going to let that melt down, incorporate with the butter. When that's done, I'll show you all what it should look like. Alright, y'all. See how it's all nice and like creamy like? Can y'all see that? It's very creamy. It's incorporated with the butter. Now we are going to take a pint of half and half. Yes, I use the Great Value. We're going to turn this down to about a medium instead of medium high. Pour that half and half in there. Okay. We're going to bring that up to a simmer. And when it does that, that cream cheese will fully incorporate. I just use the cream cheese because it just makes it a little thicker, creamier, but it gives it that, just that distinct flavor. So we're gonna let this come up to a simmer and then I'll show you all what to do from there. Alright y'all, so our cream cheese is pretty much melted down. What you see the chunks of is garlic, of course. So we have some seasonings over here. We got black pepper. I don't know if y'all can see it. Okay, we got black pepper, just a little bit of red pepper flakes. Now, if this was for me, I would put a lot more than that, but this is for my grandma. Some Slap Your Mama seasoning, about a teaspoon, about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And that's about a teaspoon of black pepper. I like the Slap Your Mama seasoning, but I don't like to put a whole lot of it in here because it already gets so salty with the cheese and the cream cheese and the butter that I just don't want it super over salty. So we're gonna let that come up for a minute. Now the first thing I do, okay, I use 2 different kinds of Parmesan cheese. Let me go around and show y'all. So I use 2 different kinds of Parmesan cheese. I use the finely shredded. They were out of stock of the, which brand is it? I can't remember. And then I have Parmesan and Romano. I like this a lot better, y'all. I do. And that's just a personal preference. So first things first. Probably about 2 tablespoons of this one. And let's do 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons of the Parmesan Romano grated. That one you find on the shelf, of course. I like the flavor of the Romano in my Alfredo, but that's just me. I do not add mozzarella or any of that. If you're adding mozzarella, it's as a filler. To me, Alfredo doesn't need that filler. It shouldn't anyways. See, so we got that in there. Ooh, look at that. Y'all, this is so good. It's cheesy. Now remember though, the Parmesan is almost lactose free because it is aged so long. It's a hard cheese. Don't you just love whenever you get those packages and it says pull here and then you do and it never does it correctly? You gotta love it, I'm telling you. Okay, so this one we're gonna add a cup. But we're going to do it in 1/4 of a cup increments. So this is 1.5 cup package. I do not want this to boil, so we're going to turn it down. And I say 1/4 of a cup increments because you may not actually need the full cup. You just stir because you want that cheese to melt down into the 1/2 and 1/2. I choose 1/2 and 1/2 instead of heavy whipping cream. With heavy whipping cream, to me, it's just too rich. But that's, again, I'm going to turn this down really low because you don't really need, sometimes I shut the heat off at this point if it's getting too hot. As you can see, it's getting pretty hot because you don't want that to boil. You can actually scorch it. And we do not want scorched Alfredo. So there's our first 1/4 of a cup. Here comes our next. So we're at about a 1/2, maybe a little over. I'm heavy-handed, y'all. That's why nobody likes me to make their drinks. See how thick and creamy that's getting? Look at that. Ooh. And the cheese isn't even fully melted. You can still see how you can still see it in there. But you just gotta keep stirring the key to get this to all incorporate instead of separate into a large cheese clump with 1/2 and 1/2. is to stir and make sure that that half and half is warm enough to melt the cheese. But like I said, we don't want it to boil. See that? Y'all, my mouth is watering because it's smelling so delicious. Like I said, I have a secret ingredient. I'm gonna put in another half or another. We're probably at about 3/4 of a cup instead of, or close to a cup. Again, it's Alfredo, so you really can put as much cheese as you want. This is just my personal preference. So, we're gonna let that melt down. And y'all, Coda just showed up with our secret ingredient because I couldn't find mine.
Come on. Why are my fingers stuck?
Maybe if he can get it out of his jacket. Alright, secret ingredient in my Alfredo, and I have never given anybody my secret ingredient. Y'all, some nutmeg. But let me tell you, a little bit goes a long way. Literally, that's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And that is all I'm putting in there. Now you ask why nutmeg. Let me tell you, it just adds a flavor to this. It heightens that parmesan flavor. It's just absolutely delicious. So y'all, once your cheese gets completely melted in, which it's darn close at this point, you serve it over pasta. You eat it with Alfredo. Or, well, yeah, you eat it with Alfredo. You eat it with seafood. Dip your seafood, y'all. Get you some crab and dip it in this. Let me tell you, it'll be the best you ever had. Now, Grandma's eating it with pasta, so I will be making her this. This is just my personal preference. I really like this. I think this is a fantastic pasta. So we will be doing that. Now, I'm telling you, does that not look delicious or what, y'all? And that's how you make my Alfredo. Let's give it a taste and make sure it tastes all good. Oh, it's delicious, but for me, let's add another 1/4 of that and another tablespoon of this one. Oh, not that much. Tablespoon or so. You know how these containers are. Comes out how it wants to. We're gonna incorporate that, and that's literally the Alfredo, y'all. It doesn't need salt. If you like your food really salty, which y'all know I don't use a lot of salt, what I would recommend is just a touch of this, which I'm gonna put just a touch because it's not for me. It's for Grandma. And Grandma is a Southern woman and she likes her food salty. So, alright. That's how we make our Alfredo. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. If you try it, please let me know or tag me in a video on Instagram. And as always, stay warm and stay blessed.